Welcome to Hot Take. Today is October 9th, 2018, and my name is Matt Adams. I'm joined by Donovan Jessica and Andrew Myrick, and today we saw a slew of new products from Google. Guys, how are we doing today?
How's it going, Matt?
What's going on, man?
I don't know about you guys, but a little underwhelmed from what we saw today.
Disappointed.
Yeah. So Google came out with four products we're going to talk about today. We've got the Pixel Slate, the Home Hub, Pixel Stand, and of course the Google 3 and Google 3 or Google Pixel 3 and Google Pixel 3 XL. So we're just gonna jump right in and start with the Pixel Slate. This is as we can tell, the first Google tablet to run Chrome OS out of the box. And it has an available pen and keyboard. So basically, you can turn it into either a Chrome tablet or a Chrome laptop, kind of, laptop substitute. It comes in several configurations, but all of them have 8th gen Intel chips. Not, we were expecting to see some laptops maybe with Snapdragon chips, but that didn't come out. The cheapest version has a Celeron processor, 4 gigabytes of RAM. Then we have a version that comes with a Core M3, which is a mobile chip, 8 gigs of RAM, 64 gigabytes of storage. The next step up from that is a Core i5 with 8 gigs of RAM and 128 gigabytes of storage. And then the top trim level is a Core i7 with 16 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of storage. These will cost $599, $799, $999, and $1,600 respectively. So all of them share the same display, which is a 12.3 inch 3000 by 2000 LCD. Google's calling this display a molecular display due to its use of energy efficient LCD technology. Basically, it allows you to squeeze more pixels in without sacrificing size or battery life, which it's pretty interesting. We focus a lot on display technology with phones and stuff, so it's cool to see them moving forward on bigger displays too. This will have two 8 megapixel cameras, one on the front, one on the back. Stereo speakers, two USB-C ports. Unfortunately, no 3.5 millimeter headphone jack. And
Boo.
yeah, Google is with their keynote today, basically positioning this as like a productivity device or something for people on the go. So guys, what's your top line reaction to this? Donovan, why don't you start us off?
It's another premium priced device that people really didn't ask for. I mean, you're dropping the same price as you'd look at for a MacBook, really, for a Chrome tablet.
Yeah, that's a tough sell for me. Andrew, do you think that $599 price is kind of competitive with like the new Surface or anything like that, or is this just kind of dead on arrival?
Um, it's not dead on arrival, kind of. No, it doesn't compare with the Surface Go. I think it's what it's called
Yeah,
because the Surface Go's priced at $399, then you pay like $150 for the keyboard, so you're at like what, it's $550 right there, or yeah, math. But
yeah,
like $599 for the base model Pixel Slate with specs that are way too high, and then maybe not for the base model, but for that $1,600 model, it definitely is.
yeah.
So you got $600 for the tablet itself, and then you're looking at $199 for the keyboard, and then the Pixel pen, is $99 extra. So, like Donovan said, you're looking at low end like MacBook or like Surface Pro models, not really like a straight up comparison against the Surface Go. Now, if you wanted to go and say that this is the iPad Pro competitor, then I would be more understanding because that
Yeah,
starts
but
at
it's not
like five
priced
ninety
there.
nine. It's not off by much. It competes more with the iPad Pro versus the Surface Go,
Yeah,
at least the base model part.
yeah.
I don't know. I'm interested to see it. I have been wanting something like this for a while. Um, I don't know how I feel about a Celeron processor with 4 gigs of RAM, even for a Chrome OS tablet.
Yeah, that seems a little rough.
I feel like you're not going to have like a very smooth experience until you get to that Core i5 level. But at $1,000, I'm not touching. I'm not going anywhere near it.
Yeah, I just have problems all throughout the price range with this because the $600 model, I think $600 is a lot for a Chrome tablet, especially when you see what you can get, an iPad or like a MediaPad M5 from Huawei. Um, the middle two tiers, I guess the $800 and $1,000 are respectable, but you're still paying $1,000 for a Chrome laptop. And then the $1,600, like you guys said, you buy the keyboard, buy the pen. I mean, it's a $2,000 Chrome tablet, and I just don't know who's gonna buy that.
I think the bigger news is the fact that Google is making the push and recognizing that Android tablets are dead.
Yeah.
And they're finally doing what they need to do and saying, okay, in the tablet form factor, we're going Chrome OS. We've redesigned it to make it more intuitive so that it's not as janky as it was for like touchscreen enabled laptops like Chromebooks. But here's what it should look like. Here's the new version of the software. If you want to buy ours, that's cool, but it opens the door for manufacturers to get on board and create, obviously lower priced products in the future. Because sure, the Huawei MediaPad that you reviewed, and I had the Galaxy Tab S3 from last year. They're fine, but they're Android is not made for tablets.
Yeah.
And there's always been an issue, even like with what was it, Honeycomb or whatever that was. I don't know. Like designed for tablets. It's just Google never got it's like Wear OS. They never could wrap their head around how to do it right. But they've got like a gold mine with Chrome OS.
Yeah, these guys, and this is Apple too, they could never figure out what to do with more real estate. Phones got bigger, but once you got past a certain point and you had a tablet, like, oh, it's just a big phone. I do agree with you that it was smart of them to go with Chrome because it is a more versatile OS. Plus, you bring in the Android apps. That adds a lot of functionality. So, yeah, I agree that it was probably the right idea. I just wonder at a certain point why they just didn't merge Chrome and Android and just make it Android or just make it, a new operating system instead of, having all of this crossover with the apps and all that.
I feel like Chrome OS has its place, and this is what its place is. It's taken years to get here, but this is the place. This is where Chrome OS is supposed to thrive. This is where Chrome OS, like, if you need like a budget computer for school to only write papers, you go get a Chromebook.
Right, but these aren't budget prices. So
yeah, a budget computer. That's the key word there. Right. Nothing about this is budget.
I would much rather go pick up a Windows computer that has similar specs at a similar price than a Chromebook because you can do way more with it.
Yeah, and have to deal with a blue screen of death every 15 to 20 days.
That's just false, sir, and slanderous, and take it back.
Nope, not happening.
All right, well, let's move on past that. The next thing we have is the Home Hub, which for me was the most promising product of the day.
Agreed.
If you don't know, Google has been pumping out some smart displays with other manufacturers like JBL recently. And basically what a smart display is it's a Google Home, but it has a screen on it. And this gives you, access to more visual information, and you can watch music videos and stuff like that. So this is their own smart display. Packs in Google Assistant, Google Home with a nice display for visual cues. It's got a 7-inch display, 2 far-field microphones, Bluetooth 5.0, ambient EQ light sensor. It comes in 4 colors. Sits in a stand, and that stand houses speakers. So Google is pushing their audio and video a little bit here. So expect to see a little bit better audio than like the full-fledged Google Home, but not quite the Google Home Max. Um, one glaring omission here is Google did not put a camera on the Google Home Hub. This is mainly to assuage privacy fears, people hacking in and or Google hacking in and looking through your camera. Now you don't have a camera to worry about that. But other companies like JBL have come up with this revolutionary feature called a privacy switch, which just hides the camera. And without that camera, you can't place video calls now, which is, for me, kind of crazy that you would push Google Duo and not have a product like this able to place calls. One cool thing I did like, it includes ambient EQ sensors. Basically, it's kind of like what Apple's been doing, and it adjusts your brightness and the color temperature. So, guys, what do you think? Is this something you might be interested in?
I like it. I like it. I like the price, especially $150 is a good price for something that packs that much functionality, especially considering the price of a Google Home to begin with. I would have liked to see it be as almost like a tablet stand tablet stand combination rather than just a screen that's on a Google Home. I feel like that would have been interesting because you could use it as a universal remote for your house, rather than this kind of stationary object. I think that's one of the reasons why they don't have the camera on there is you're not going to be holding it in your hand, so it'd be kind of hard to get your face in there anyway.
Andrew?
I will probably buy one, even though I probably won't use it. I mean, but that's kind of what Google's aiming for, right?
Yeah.
At least get it into your house.
Yeah,
I
right?
did think it was weird that they didn't include a camera, but I also understand why. I don't like the design of it.
Really?
No. I like the design of it. I don't like the fact that it's a Nexus 7 put on a speaker. I can't. It looks like they cut a wedge out of the Google Home Hub and slapped the Nexus 7 on it and said, "Voila, here's the Home Hub." But
I don't know about that.
150, you get 6 months of YouTube music. You can't beat that. Plus, I don't know. I like it, but I just don't like the display. I like the idea behind it, and it's cheaper than what other manufacturers have been releasing, so I'm good with that.
So you like the idea, you just don't like the form, basically.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I agree with you. I really like the idea behind it. I don't mind the form. It's it's not some striking piece of art or anything like that. So I think it will fit in. It does come in it comes in 4 colors, I believe. Yeah, aqua, black, chalk, and sand, which is kind of the same color scheme that Google's followed with the other Google Homes. I think not including a camera is dumb. I think there's probably an elegant solution to make everybody happy and put one on there and have a privacy switch, but I'm not a product designer, so who knows. The thing that I thought was pretty cool is when you're not using it, has the live albums, which basically what it does is pulls your pictures from your Google Photos, and it'll display your best ones and automatically skip blur. It can tell which ones aren't good. Your blurry shots or duplicates of the other ones, and it's when you're not using it, it's a photo picture frame, or a digital picture frame, and it just scrolls through. So even when you're not messing with it, it's doing something, which I thought was cool. And now, going back to what Donna said, it would be cool if it was a tablet, and you could pick it up and use it as a remote or whatever. I think Google's going for just the voice control, because they said today that Google Assistant now supports 10,000 smart home devices from over 1,000 brands. So they don't want you necessarily grabbing something to control it. They just want you to either walk over and swipe down from the top and control your smart home stuff, or just say, hey Google.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess if you're looking for a removable tablet to carry around, any Android phone that has Google Assistant does the same thing, right? in theory.
Right. Everything has Assistant now. So,
Yeah.
sorry, I had to mute my mic because my Google Home went off on my desk when I said HEY Google, and I couldn't turn my mic back on. So sorry to everyone out there who I just activated their Google Home. Um, if you are interested in picking one of these up, looks like it'll be in stores beginning October 22nd. Best Buy, Target, Walmart, some other retailers in there. Do you guys think $149 is fair for this?
Good price.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, it was the most sane priced thing all day. And now for the most insane price thing all day, we have the Pixel Stand. This is a wireless charger from Google, and it will fast wireless charge your Pixel 3, slowly brightens the display on your phone in the morning to gently wake you up, and displays routines on your phone screen with reminders and calendar information. It'll also do the same thing what we were talking about with the Home Hub, where it'll display a live action photo frame from Google Photos. And all this can be yours for the low price of $79, or twice what you can get a fast wireless charger for on Amazon.
An absolutely insane price, by the way. That's not remotely worth it. Every feature that they display, that they try to market to you, is all software side. It's all built into the Pixel. It's not anything to do with the actual charger. You could probably throw the Pixel on any charger and it would do the same thing.
Well, even if it doesn't, someone is on XDA, and within a month of this thing hitting the market, will have some hack available that it's going to work on a new wireless charger, right?
Yeah, there's not a single feature of this stand that makes it worth $80. Nothing.
Andrew, tell me why I should like this.
You shouldn't.
Oh, wow.
Harsh.
It's $80 for a wireless charger.
But it's a fast
Even
wireless
Samsung,
charger.
who cares? Even Samsung's fast wireless charger is only $50. Like, I'm good.
Yeah, this one I don't think we need to spend too much time on. This is just crazy. I think Google really, really missed the mark on this one.
It's a huge miss. Absolutely.
Yeah, I can't wait until Apple comes out with their charging station that costs $200, so this doesn't look as bad by comparison, but
That was some shade.
but yeah. All right, let's move on to the main event. We have the Pixel 3 and Pixel 3 XL. And despite Google trying to make everyone think otherwise, the leaks nailed it, and we got exactly what we were expecting. The Pixel 3 is a 5.5-inch display, 2.1 aspect ratio OLED, has no notch, comes with a Snapdragon 845, 4 gigs of RAM, 64 or 128 gigabytes of storage, an almost 3,000 milliamp hour battery, 2915 milliamp hours, and dual 8 megapixel front facing cameras and a single 12 megapixel rear camera. The Pixel 3 XL comes with a 6.2-inch OLED display with that huge notch. Basically, it is the same body size as a Pixel 2 XL from last year. They have just stretched the screen up into the corners. It also has the dual cameras on the front, has some sensors and a speaker that they're hiding in that notch. A 3,450 milliamp hour battery, which is smaller than last year's Pixel 2 XL, which had a 3,520 milliamp hour battery. Both phones come with the same processor, RAM, storage options, cameras, software, Active Edge feature, which is squeeze the sides for Google Assistant, and fast wireless charging. Also, you can't turn this notch off in software, which is crazy. Someone tell me why I should like this phone, please.
It's cheaper than a Note.
That doesn't seem like a great reason to like it.
I mean, that's the best I have.
4 gigs of RAM in 2018 is disappointing. Not having a bigger battery is disappointing. The one thing I do like about either of these phones is the fact that the Pixel 3 is basically like a mini version of the 2 XL.
Yeah.
And I love that. very, very, very much. I don't have to deal with a stupid notch and a stupidly oversized status bar. I get, I just get a bigger screen on a smaller device and probably more comfortable. Battery life is going to just be meh, but
Yeah, correct me if I'm wrong, but it seems like the last 2 years on the first Pixel and then the Pixel 2, the smaller device was kind of the also ran, and it seems like this year the Pixel 3, the smaller one, is kind of the star of the show because of that huge notch.
yeah. I mean, if you don't care about the notch, go for it. Like, if you want stock Android, that's the best that you're going to get.
How do you guys feel about Pixel's or Google's run up to this, where they were asking YouTubers for clips for leaks and coming out with tweets saying, "Oh, you think you know everything" on the eve before, and it's just the exact same thing that got leaked. I mean, don't you think that's kind of deceptive and crappy of them?
It's really disingenuous. It's like, I mean, yes, Google announced a few really interesting and intriguing software features, but there were zero hardware surprises today. Nothing. It was all well known in advance, literally months ago. And I don't know. I'm kind of speechless at the moment.
I don't know, like, because Google kind of did this last year with the Pixel Ultra. Like, they I think when they announced the 2 and the 2 XL, they teased Pixel Ultra meeting in the at a glance widget or something like
Yeah,
that.
that was a nice little acknowledgement of
But it
the
was subtle.
fake leaks.
It was subtle. It was cute. It was to the point without being obnoxious. But everything that they've done in the last 2 or 3 days has been super obnoxious. Oh, we're gonna build all the hype up and then bring everybody to at least see our new products. But then there's nothing else that we haven't seen. So basically, you're left standing there at the end like, why am I here?
Yeah, and what Donovan said, all of the hardware we already know. The new software features, it seems like Google can't make up its mind because half of them are going to end up on the Pixel 2 and Pixel 2 XL, and then half of them are exclusive to this year's Pixel. So I'm very confused on what Google wants their customers to think. Do you need to buy the new phone to get all the cool stuff, or should you stick with what you have because we're going to do a great job of supporting you through software for multiple years? I don't. Is it the Samsung model or is it the Apple model? It doesn't seem like you can split the difference.
I agree. They're a little confused on what they want. They're trying to do both. They're trying to both support what they already have and introduce new things, and that's just not. It's not there. They didn't improve enough on last year's models to make it worth it.
Yeah, I mean, the camera stuff is absolutely amazing, but like you said, some of it's coming to the 2 and the 2 XL. But other than
Yeah,
that, it's the same or worse, at least in terms of the battery and on the spec department. All right, cool, you got the 845. There's nothing wrong with the 835.
Not at all.
The
well,
835 is very capable.
$300 phones like the Poco phone have the 845. So I mean, you can't tell me that's a huge selling point.
Yep.
This phone is outclassed in specs by everything that is released in the second half of this year, and it's what, $900.
It's going to be overshadowed in 3 weeks when we get the 6.2.
Right. That's a better phone and it'll cost half the price. So we didn't give price, but let's do that real quick. The Pixel 3, the smaller one, the 64 gig starts at $799, which is $150 more than last year. The Pixel 3 XL starts at $899 for the base 64 gig model. That is $50 more than last year. And if you want more storage, you can bump up to 128 gigabytes on either of those models for just $100 more. So that would be $899 and $999. Do you guys feel like those prices are we've talked about the specs, but do you feel like those prices are fair since basically everything, all of these premium, quote unquote, premium flagships are $1,000 now? We had the V40, which I believe was $900. The Note obviously is 1,000. The iPhones are 1,000 and more. You know, is it fair to ask for $900 for
Well,
the
I
Pixel 3
mean,
XL?
what's kind of going unsaid here is that the Pixel 3 and the 3 XL both start at 64 gigs of ROM of storage space,
Mm-hmm.
and then they're saying that the 128 is worth $100, right? That's kind of the implication there.
Yeah,
But what they're not saying is that the Note 9 doesn't it come stock at 128?
yeah. You get
So
128 or 512.
I mean and the 128 is $1,000. So if they sold a 64 gig Note, you could theoretically drop the price down to $900, which is what the Pixel 3 XL starts at, and the Note 9 is a much better deal at that price.
And it has micro SD card, so even if you did get a 64 gig version, you could throw a micro SD card in there and have, you know, still over 500 gigs of space.
Is it the Note 9 that comes with a 256 gig one, or is it the V40?
Um,
That's a pre-order special for the V40.
yeah,
Gotcha.
that's.
But
You get a
there
micro
was
SD card.
one. There was a pre-order special or a launch special for the Note 9, but I don't think it was for a 256 gig one. I think it
I
was.
believe it was 128.
Yeah.
I mean, Google
Um,
tried to undercut the market, and they didn't. It's completely smoke and mirrors.
My problem
Yeah.
is the carrier support.
That too.
Yeah, Verizon and Fi exclusive again. Not a fan of that.
I like
Um,
Fi. I like the. I mean, but that's an obvious
Right.
decision.
It's
for them.
Google's carrier.
Right.
Oh, I mean, Fi uses T-Mobile and Sprint, which are purely by coincidence, I'm sure, the markets that were left out. Well,
Oh,
and
yeah.
AT&T, but no one cares about AT&T.
I just
I think about 100 million Americans care about AT&T, but we'll let that one slide.
They don't really care about it. They just pay them.
if you want to push numbers, maybe Google doesn't care about numbers. Maybe they're good, taking all of our information and our data and letting it get leaked on Google Plus and then not sharing it to the point where they don't even want, they're good with not pushing numbers. They just want our information, throw overpriced crap at us and just call it a day. But
I don't know.
And then you're going to partner with literally the worst carrier for consumers and leave 3 other carriers out to dry. For what reason?
Yeah, I think the point that you're getting to here is there's just no coherent strategy. No one does single carrier exclusives anymore. The only one I can really think of is the Moto Z3 on Verizon and maybe like the BlackBerry Key 2 on AT&T. And no one's...
The V35 on AT&T.
Yeah, that's just a minor different than the G7. So that's whatever. But, the point I'm trying to make is it seems like, excuse me, Google is stuck doing the Apple model from years ago. Get into the biggest carrier and let them do the heavy lifting on the selling, ignore everybody else, and overprice your phones. I just don't see a coherent strategy here. If they could sit down and make the case of why we're doing Verizon exclusives, maybe, but I just don't see it.
We've known that Google is kind of scattered, to begin with. They kind of lack a cohesive direction because there's so many different departments, so many different people, kind of too many chefs in the kitchen sort of situation.
Yeah. That's not even talking about the fact that they let their entire device leak in its entirety, full written reviews, where Engadget got its hands on one, Android Authority late last night got its hands on one, before it even was announced, and then you joked about it.
Yep.
Like, you should be embarrassed that it happened, not trying to embrace it and just saying, That was pretty funny, guys. But here's what, it's here now.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's a underwhelming phone. They have screwed it up for the last 6 months by letting it leak and get everywhere, and it's just not like you can't walk into your carrier store and buy it unless you're on Verizon, and no one's gonna pay. Well, not a lot of people are gonna pay $900 out of pocket for it. That's just crazy. It's sad that we don't have Kian here with us today to evangelize, but he couldn't make it.
It's
sure
just a miss. It's a huge miss on Google's part.
I agree.
But you get a free Pixel stand if you pre-order it.
Ooh, free $40 charger. I mean, $80 charger.
Yep. Even 40 is optimistic. I mean, you can get an Anker one for $20.
Yeah. All right. Well, before we bash on Google too much and they never talk to us again, let's wrap it up. Thanks for joining us today. If you like what you heard, please consider subscribing on Google Play, Google Play Music, iTunes, Pocket Cast, or pretty much anywhere where you can find podcasts. Also, please be sure to head over to AndroidGuys.com and click on the link for this podcast. Not only do we put all the sources for our what we talk about in there, but you can also find out information on our sponsor, Blue Microphones. If you like how we sound, go into the link for this post and you can find a 20% discount code, which, I mean, that's pretty decent discount. Andrew, Donovan, and I love our Blue microphones, and we're not alone. Blue is an award-winning company and the driving force behind professional musicians, internet creators, and countless elite gaming teams and Twitch streamers. Their Blue Yeti USB microphones, which we're using right now, are the most popular microphones on the internet. So head on over there and get your discount. Tell us what you thought about the podcast. For Donovan, Andrew, I'm Matt. Thanks for joining us, and we'll catch you next time.